You're supposed to be a secret, but I can't show you off. You gotta be secret.
That's right. I can't.
Oh, you gotta get my wallet.
Yeah, where is it?
Uh, in the room.
Okay.
What's up, people?
It's okay. Here's your water bottle.
How are all of you lovely people doing today?
You're
We're doing a very special stream today. We're
welcome.
gonna
Take this with you.
we're gonna go around the farm while we talk today. Thank you. Alright. You're welcome. You sound so cute, Mama. I got one like it. Okay, what's up? Welcome. You can. You wanna come with me, little thank you? Oh, babe, can you bring me the inside of the jacket in the bedroom, the the Adidas jacket, the fuzzy thing for the mic. You gotta go with mommy with the shoes. Mommy will get you shoes, okay? Welcome! How are you all doing today? I got the whole upgraded set up, so we're gonna be talking and walking. I get to show you guys the farm. What's up, Ingrid? This has actually been super fun. I've been having a lot of fun the past few weeks. I got super busy helping out clients. Hey, what's up, Ego? I got super busy helping out clients over the. Oh, I guess it's time for school to stop. Got stuff. Those school buses moving by. Got super busy earlier for Black Friday, helping out clients. You know, doing my marketing consulting work, so didn't necessarily have a lot of different videos. Actually, even the video I posted last was it last week? The video I posted last week, that was an older recorded video. If you could tell by the length of the beard, that was an older video. Now I'm all the way at I guess I'm not Moses length quite yet. I guess I'm one of the one of the apostles at this point with how long the beard is. But super glad to be here with you guys talking about manifesting and Christmas joy. Welcome, you guys. Glad to have you here. If you have any questions on like manifesting, Neville Goddard's processes, Abraham Hicks, post them down below. I had some interesting topics that I wanted to talk about. A lot of stuff's been going on with like the coaching community because I have the group coaching community, Reality Architects, which I do need to make another post about so that you guys know a little bit more about it. Yeah, like Oscar Isaac in the show. I really liked Oscar Isaac, especially in what was it? Ava, not Ava. Was it Ava? I think it was called Ava. The AI movie. Ex Machina. That's what it was called. Loved Oscar Isaac and Ex Machina. And actually I grew out the beard and trimmed the hair so I could look a little bit more like him. I was like, yeah, that's a good look. um Oh man, what was I going into? Oscar Isaac. Welcome, Raven, by the way. Glad to have you here. Have a whole bunch of people here today. Oh, goodies. Got the community. The community's been launched. We're actually at 20 people now. So if you guys want more info on the community, I guess I'll include that in another post. But yesterday, we did our coaching Q&A. So in the community, we do weekly coaching Q&As. People ask questions, especially the people who have booked one-to-one sessions with me. And nah, you didn't miss a live stream. I just started. um, the coaching Q&A sessions, we were talking through some interesting stuff. What were some of the interesting things that came up? Kiva and a couple. I'm glad you're relieved. Kiva and a bunch of awesome people in there. We're talking and sharing some of the stuff that they learned and had been experiencing. So like people who've gone through and done the one-to-one sessions with me, I'm so happy now because I started doing the one-to-one sessions with people from the YouTube channel here back in, I started them in September 20th. And since we're about a good 2 months in, people have been getting like awesome results. And I've been seeing cool results from people here in the community too. People who just watch the YouTube videos. I've gotten tons of people who are like, oh shoot, it actually works. Yeah, this stuff works. Don't be surprised. Go test it out. Go to like try out stuff like the love letter video. If you start scrolling through the comments in the love letter video, you'll actually see people who are like, yeah, this stuff works. Yes, it does. It works very well. Most of the time because the stuff, like a lot of the processes, they're not mine. I just use processes that I've found from either like places on TikTok or really freaking old books. Love old books, like the Arcane Teachings, the Arcane Formulas, Neville Goddard's books, especially before Neville Goddard was popular, because I was studying Neville Goddard back when I was in high school, and I was like, man, I wish more people knew about this, and now everybody's talking about Neville Goddard. Huh. That's an interesting statement. I had a feeling that Pandora's box contained the mystery of woman's sensuality, so different from a man's, and from which man's language was inadequate. The language of sex had yet to be invented. So that's actually funny that you bring that up. I really do love mythology. It's one of my first loves. So when it comes to studying folklore, mythology, and religions, because they're all essentially in the same category. It's just that some folklore mythology is still stuff that's practiced today, which is what we refer to as religion. Um, all of them were usually meant to teach some form of information and explain it in a symbolic way where people were able to fully understand it. Because it's difficult to teach people concepts, especially invisible or intangible concepts. Um, it's difficult to teach people intangible concepts, especially considering the way that they lived in their lives. So the way that information was passed along was through oral tradition, and it's much easier for human beings to remember things through art, specifically through stories. And folklore was designed to be symbolic stories that contained a whole bunch of information for people to fully understand life and their equipment for living. So when we talk about stories like Pandora's Box and stuff like that, oh, thank you, Bebe. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me your bottle. Um, when we talk about stuff like Pandora's Box, those stories are meant to be layered, where they are explanations for tons of different things, which could be stuff around sexuality, the concepts of abstract concepts of things like chaos. And the reason why they needed these stories was because how do you explain evil and bad and anger and chaos to a like a farmer? How do you make a farmer remember this? How do you make a blacksmith remember this kind of stuff? You have to use language and stories which capture their imagination and use concepts and things that they fully understand. And that's why you have cool stories like Pandora's Box. And that's actually also why in Abrahamic religions you have the existence of referring to the divine as the Father, because if you're a fisherman or a nomadic shepherd, you have a father. So if I explain something to you like, oh, God is like a father, you understand fundamentally what that means because you've had a father or you've seen a father in your experience. So it's very easy for you to understand what the divine means and how it interacts with you. So it's much easier to explain those concepts to other individuals because they have some understanding of what that's like inside of their mind. And that's why we use terms like the Father and the Divine Mother and Divine Feminine and Sacred Masculine and all that stuff. Because there's supposed to be symbols that people have experiences for that they can fully understand. No, I am not from Compton. Yes, I do believe in God Nassim. Yeah, and much more. There's a whole bunch of layers. Whole bunch of layers, especially if you're somebody who's Christian or Abrahamic. People believe in much more than they let on. Uh, are you gonna be on the next Lord of the Rings movies? The doors are the best part. I mean, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd enjoy being in another Lord of the Rings movie. Although I have no clue what they would make another Lord of the Rings movie about because they've already done The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. The only thing that they have left for Lord of the Rings is like the Silmarillion. which would be interesting, but that's kind of like an Encyclopedia Britannica for the world. Benga mama, little one's so cute. Ooh, that's a good question, Raven. Can you talk about imagining and is it necessary to see a clear image or can we just affirm? All right, so to answer your question, depends on what you want to create. Oh, thanks, Nassim. Appreciate it, man. Glad to have you as one of the people. So, see you later, man. Um, dude, I mean, pretty cool that you hit a kickflip. I don't know about the over the baby part, but congrats on hitting the kickflip. Kickflips are awesome. Now, let's talk about imagining and if you need to see a clear image or can we just affirm. When you're trying to create or manipulate the world around you, because honestly, that's what all religions and the metaphysical stuff is supposed to explain. We're explaining how do you use your consciousness to create change in the physical world around you. And if you're, predominantly Christian, that's what prayer is. If you are of the Eastern traditions, that's the point of using meditation. That's also the point of using visualizations and all these other like processes that we talk about. It's how do you use your consciousness to create the world that you want? How do you manipulate the images within your mind, the feelings in your body, and the sounds that you create to create specific changes? Hi, cutie pie. You want to say hi? Oh, wait, can you say hi? Ooh, whoa. Rotate back. I got the thing flipped over. I got you guys on a gimbal. There we go. That's better. Okay, so you should talk a little bit more about the Vedanta. Now, when we are talking about like imagining, if you want to if you want to create stuff in your life, there are many different methods to produce the desired effect that you want. That's like the equivalent of asking the question, can I build a house with a hammer in my with a hammer or my hands? Well, technically, yeah, you can build a house with your hands, and you can build a house with a hammer, and you can also build a house with a drill. All the different tools will be used in a different way, but fundamentally, you'll still be building the house. So yes, just like you can build a house with a hammer or your hands or with a drill, you can build what you want in the world around you by using your imagination or affirming. The fundamental thing that you're changing is whatever's going on the causal level of reality, which is typically referred to as your imagination, which will come in a couple different flavors. You'll have the sight, which is what you see, which is typically what people refer to. Oh, bebe, which is typically what we refer to when we talk about imagination. There is the sounds, which are the self talk that you hear inside of your head and inside of your body, the words that you continually repeat, and then the feelings, the kinesthetic feelings. Okay, Mr. UPS, what are you doing? You dropping off a package? This is a Christmas package? Oh, he's actually dropping it off here. Oh, pretty cool. We got the birdies. So those are the three core areas that we use to manipulate the imagination or consciousness. Again, you got number one, the images, number two, the sounds, and number three, the feelings. The kinesthetic feelings, which could be either feelings that you feel with like your imaginary hands or feelings that you feel inside the body, like emotions. All of these are ultimately what we're trying to change in one way, shape, or form to create a specific effect in the physical world around us. Now, the only thing that matters is that you use these processes to create and produce a change inside of the body. The most important thing to change is the way that you feel inside of the body. The problem, and the reason why we need all of these freaking processes, whether they're like imaginary processes or they are affirmations, robotic affirmations, and stuff like that. What we're actually doing is we're using the two first items, which are either sight and sound, to produce a change in the way that we feel on the inside of the body. Okay, I'll answer your question in a second, Stephen. So, How you doing? Yeah, you can leave it there. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay. You got the birds. So the best way to illustrate this and to like explain it a little bit more is I always use these kinds of examples. So you guys are probably getting like a bunch of oranges and a bunch of if you've probably been paying attention, you've probably seen a bunch of pink elephants. But the moment I say and I use the words and sound, think of a pink elephant or picture a pink elephant. It's easy. A pink elephant has probably showed up in your experience. If we're in rapport and you're listening to me, you probably thought of a pink elephant. Something shifted across your experience. If I tell you to hold out your hand, okay, then go ride it. That's okay. You can ride your bicycle. If I tell you to hold out your hand and imagine a imagine hey, I tell you to hold out your hand and imagine that you're holding an orange, you'll see an orange, and that's relatively simple and easy to do. If I tell you to say inside your head orange, it's really easy to replicate the sound of orange. But if I tell you to feel happy now, that's a little bit more difficult for people to do. Like, it's more difficult to just go directly to a feeling. So, since there's a bit more difficulty in trying to translate a concept, an idea into an actual feeling in the body, we need some form of ritual or process to make it easier so that we can change the way that we feel. That's where we get the Abraham Hicks processes. That's where we get the Neville Goddard processes. Oh, thank you, baby. Just stick it on top. Right there, just pop it on.
Oh, it's in the hole?
Yeah.
Does it click?
That's it. Yep. Perfect. Thank you. Um, what's up, baby? Oh, my daughter. Oh, you want? Oh, she wants her water bottle. All right, so, or was that mommy? The mommy and baby got me off topic there. Oh, since it's more difficult to try to directly translate the idea or the concept of I want to feel good or I want to feel like I'm in an ideal relationship or I want to feel fulfilled or I want to feel happy or I want to feel the attraction and connection with a human being, because it's more difficult to do that, people need processes to give them permission slips to feel the feelings. And that's where we have all of these different processes. This is where we have Neville Goddard's SATS process. This is where we have all of Abraham Hicks processes to get into the vortex. All of these things are just methods, words, sounds, and images that we manipulate inside of our minds so that we can ultimately create a different feeling inside of the body. The same thing when we talk about mantra and meditation and all of the Eastern spiritual practices are ultimately to change the feeling inside of the body. When you talk to Zen monks and Buddhist monks, and they asked them. This was like a question that they asked them, like, why do you do the mantra meditation? Why do you do the sounds? And they said, well, the sound isn't the meditation. The reason why we do it is because we want the feeling that the sound creates inside of the body. We're trying to resonate inside the body with the sound, and that's why they repeat this again and again and again and again and again. So if you won't know and understand that, then it makes a lot more sense why you need to visualize and imagine or why you need to affirm. What you're doing with all of these processes is just using something in your imagination so you change how you feel on the inside of the body. That's it. That's all you're doing. And it doesn't matter what process you use to get that feeling. If you get the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then it's done. That's the whole point of all this stuff that I teach, that anybody else on TikTok or IG or YouTube teaches, or any book that you read on manifestation and self-help and magic. All of it is just to transform the way that you feel inside of your body to produce the specific change that you want inside of the world. So yes, it's all about the feeling in your body. That's what all of this is for. Um, if you make a clear mental image, you will actually also tend to get the equivalent of what you mentally image, although it may look slightly different or it may come in and this is where it gets difficult. It may come in the exact perspective that you have of the item. Yes, energy oscillation. You are trying to oscillate and feel the energy because you're actually connecting with that parallel reality and causing it to restructure in the world around you. The structure of the world is based on the way that you feel. Yeah, yeah. So that's it for for that. So to be honest, it really doesn't matter whether you're doing affirming, or you're doing magical processes, or you're doing prayer at church, or you're doing visualization SATs exercises from Neville Goddard. Really doesn't matter what you're doing. The whole point is, do you feel how you want to feel? Great. That's the whole point of the process. And if you continue to feel how you want to feel, you're going to get what you want, which is some form of manifestation, something that happens in your world that makes you feel the same way that you did in the magical mystical act. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I forgot about this. I need to reach out to them. My little daughter bringing me something to remind me. Okay, so let's see. Steve's question. So lately, I've dreamt about my ex. May I ask? I have really thought of her since she moved on. So now I had dreamt of her today, and I got over. So is it a sign or something like she's meant to show up in my reality? Okay, so interesting thing about dreams. Dreams are uh, dreams are unrestricted reflections of what's going on in your subconscious mind or your unconscious mind. It's the place where you have the representation of what's going on inside of you externalized. So it's the best way for you to understand what the heck you're thinking about and imagining and feeling, because in a dream it's just you in the full experience of your consciousness. There's no delay or anything like that. It's just full images that you experience and full feelings. What's up? You ready to go? You want to go to you actually you can drive.
Yeah, I can drive.
Yeah, you got the keys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. We can
Yeah, I
try.
wanted to see what they're saying.
We got questions. Of late I feel stuck and unattached to my emotions and my mind
I'm
body
super
connection.
happy you joined.
Yeah. I'm super happy that you she mommy said that she's super happy that you joined, and I'm super happy that you joined too. Um oh yeah, dreams. Dreams are direct reflections of what's going on inside of your mind and your consciousness so that you can review it.
Go for a drive.
So if you have people showing up in your mind, that means that they've been impressed in your subconscious mind. Usually it's a reflection that you've been thinking about them or they've been thinking about you. So it's the perfect opportunity for you to pay attention to how you felt inside of the dream, which is a very important thing. So we can use that to determine what the heck is going on. So it's not just you dreamed of her. What did you dream about? What was the context? What happened? How did you feel? Because when it comes to understanding a dream, we have to understand the context of what's going on so that we can, derive some meaning from it. If you just have somebody in the dream, doesn't really mean much of anything, because you can have somebody in a dream and you can imagine something that's awful and terrible and feel terrible about it. That's the impression. Or you can feel amazing and wonderful, and that's because that's what you've impressed in the consciousness about this person. There also are times where people are purging things out of their consciousness. So like you're releasing and letting something go, and you're using it as an opportunity to let you know that there's a big shift and change that's happened in yourself. Like I've had people who've done processes with me, like the forgiveness exercises, and then they have a dream about their, like one person in particular, he had a dream about his former SP, and when he had the dream, it was like, "Do I want to be back with you again? Like, why would I want that?" And it was a clear sign to him that he had actually changed inside. Like inside his self-concept has changed, and the way that he was given the sign of that was the fact that he had her show up in his dream and realized how different he felt about her when she was there in that situation. Should we embrace perceived physical and emotional resistances to our manifestations, or should we always try to realign? Example: SP ignores you or bank account is at zero. Ego, good question. Whatever's happening in your 3D experience, if you don't like it, just forget about it. Everything around you is your imagination pushed out. It's like delayed imagination. So if you don't like anything in your experience, that could change. Like for me, I I'm like 191. I'm yo-yoing between like 185 and 191. Like maybe like 194. Like that's my yo-yo range right now for weight. Last year, I was freaking well actually I think it was still this year. Like earlier last year. Earlier last year I was 250 pounds. Do you think I was paying attention to my actual experience? I didn't care about my actual experience. I wanted things to change. So when I wanted things to change, I did the processes so that I can create an impression of how I wanted to feel and how I wanted to look at my body, and I dropped 60 freaking pounds. So whatever thing that you want to change, you shift your attention away from it. If you continue to keep your attention on the thing, it'll continue to exist in your experience because you're impressing it on your imagination again. The funny thing is people think that memory and imagination are two different things. They're the same. They're quite literally both the same thing. They take place in the same space. Like, think about it. If you remember something, isn't it taking place in your consciousness, in your mind? What's the difference between if you remember something or if you imagine something? And if there's something in your experience that you pay attention to, if you keep paying attention to it, you're re impressing your subconscious mind or the imagination with that thing again and again and again and again. If you take your attention away from it and focus on something else and think about what you want using processes like the Neville Goddard SATS exercises or uh, scripting or any of the thousands of different techniques that are out there, you shift your attention to what you prefer. And over time, by putting your attention and putting your conscious energy into there, you get the change that you want. Yeah, she's far away. She's running over towards the pigs. Baby went on the run for the pigs. Oh, actually, I think this is the first time I've showed you guys the rest of the farm. You guys are seeing more of the farm now. What is an inspired action? That's where she was going. Is she in there? Yeah. Okay, so what is inspired action? Inspired action, it's a funny thing. Inspired action is action that's motivated by usually a feeling, an urge. You get a feeling or an urge that will be attached to maybe an image or a sound. Something comes up in your consciousness in your body that makes you want to do something. And whenever that happens, do the thing. You get a hunch, an urge. If you've been doing processes and you want something and you get a hunch or an urge for something, do that thing. It's the universe letting you know, like, hey, 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 we're making the way easy for you. Go do this thing that we just set outside for you. That's what I suggest for that one. Well, I felt nothing really. We met up at her school, and I was gonna tell her I got over, or well, her, and that I'm moving on. And then I woke up. I understand. Well, then there's your answer. Your the response was that you had her show up so that you know for yourself that you're over her. You explained it. And the fact that you did that in a dream is letting you know that this is not just a conscious thought. This is something that you've impressed on your subconscious mind. This is your self concept. You are no longer willing to wait. And this is like a form of closure, which is really cool. Dreams are really cool for that kind of stuff. I dreamed of an In and Out. I'm on my way to get some. Oh, that's one of you amigos. Felt contentment and acceptance now that I remember. Okay, so then there. In and out animal style. Well, then we gotta go on a trip. You want to go on a trip? Okay. What would you say? Good question, Raven. What would you say has been the most effective mode of impressing an idea in your mind that got you fast results? Um, it depends on what you're talking about because sometimes the best results that I've gotten are not fast. It's kind of like that. If you've ever seen that triangle for business, where it's like, if you want something, if you want something fast and you want it good, it's not going to be cheap. And if you want something cheap and fast, it's not going to be good. And if you want something cheap and good, it's not going to be, it's not going to be fast. So you usually got to choose what stuff that you want. You can have things happen fast, but usually if it's something that's really good and really different from your current experience, um, It takes time, but that's okay because if you use the processes properly, you really don't care how long it takes. I find it funny when people ask the question like, "Hey, how long did it take for that to happen, for your SP to show up, or for this to happen, or for this to happen?" And I'm like, to be honest, I really don't know. When people ask me that question, I have to think about it because I stopped caring. When you're in the state and you're in the end, or what people refer to as the Sabbath, you really don't care. That's like asking people, well, what time? That's like asking somebody, what time are you supposed to go home when you're on a really good date? I don't care when I'm gonna go to bed or when I'm gonna go home. I'm enjoying being on the date. Like, enjoy being on the date. The point of doing any of the practices and all the stuff that we teach is so that people like enjoy being on the date, enjoy your life, enjoy the work that you do, enjoy the people that you spend time with, whether they're your romantic partner or others or your family. Like, learn to enjoy life more. And the whole point of doing any of the imaginal acts and the impressing exercises is so that you feel the feelings that you want, and then you start like experiencing it all over the place. If you want to feel the attraction and the joy of being in a loving relationship, guess what? You're going to feel a lot of that. That's going to come up a lot, and it's going to come up in a bunch of different ways. It doesn't have to be with your ideal person or your specific person. Okay, little lady. But if you want something that's fast, the fastest method that I found that worked is just using Neville Goddard's SATS process, but really going into what the state akin to sleep actually is, which is the scientific term for it is hypnagogia, or the theta brainwave state. Anything that you study that teaches you about getting into the theta brainwave state will help you with impressing your subconscious mind, no matter what process you use, whether it's imagining something or affirming or doing subliminals. This is why it's super important to try this stuff as you're falling asleep, because you naturally pass through the threshold of theta into delta brainwaves. And you want to be impressing and having those ideas and those feelings going on in your mind when you're making that transition over. Um, but if you are really good at the process of impressing ideas and impressing feelings, uh, you use SATs. Over time, what Neville and other people have like been able to do is that like you're able to just create the feeling itself much easier, huh? The what? Mm. Are you gonna make those 30-day manifestation meditation videos? I actually have to. I need to make affirmation videos for you guys. I guess I'll do like a 12 days of Christmas where I'll give you guys little gifts and minis and little things to play around with. I got an urge to open this wrapped present in the corner. Well, go for it. Go for it. You're welcome, Matt. Matthew. So I feel like to contact my SP or send her something, it's feel satisfied and relieved is an inspired action. Yeah, if you're getting the urge to do it, do it. Don't never violate a hunch or an urge. Also, when you do it, don't expect a specific outcome. You may not understand why you're supposed to do it until far later on. So you may not get the exact result that you think you should be getting, but you're going to get something. And if it's an urge that feels good, whatever comes out of this will be good. That's another thing. Told the missus that I didn't want a didgeridoo for Christmas. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's funny. Uh, well, I'm glad it was nice to hear. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm a guru for Gen Z. I guess. Yeah, sure. Saving people from brain rot, because since this is a vertical video, it is something that's in there. Yeah, baby, let's go. Let's go. We can snap in the little one and you could drive. Let's go get some food.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, the gateway experience really helps with SATs and self exploration. Many interesting encounters. Benjamin, yes. So that's actually one of the things that I recommend. I've recommended it several times in lives. Oh, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, man. What was I?
Here, Nini.
Yeah. So the gateway experience is something that's super powerful, in terms of just like having a oh my, having a set system to train yourself to learn how to use these processes, um, and get yourself into the theta brainwave state. I've done meditations for years. I built myself up to the point where I started doing like really awesome meditations, really long meditations. I think my longest meditations were between 4 to 5 hours. And by doing the gateway experience, I was able to achieve some of the same states that usually would take me like maybe 2 hours to get into. So if people want a really quick shortcut into getting
Let's
super
take her for
powerful,
a walk in the stroller.
okay, well then let's go on a walk first. Apparently, baby wants to go on a walk, so we're gonna go on a walk. Have you ever had strange spiritual experiences? That's a funny question. Many. Yes, many. Many. Spiritual experiences that have put me to the point where I'm like, yeah, this stuff about like ghosts and life after death and demons and all that stuff. I'm like, no, that's 100% fact. So like, I've had experiences where I'm like, no, none of that's a joke or like doesn't exist. I've had experiences where I'm like, no, that's 100% correct. Multiple experiences, and I know a lot of people who've had very clear, clear experiences. So, yes, I have had very weird spiritual experiences, and that's actually part of the reason why I believe in this stuff so heavily, because I've had experiences which defy explanation. Oh, that's so funny, Michael. You manifest me. You're like, when is Ryan gonna stream again? Today, now. I felt like I went through a portal after meditating, and I have strange control over some things happening in my reality. Well, yep, that's what happens when you start charging yourself up and doing your meditations. You start experiencing your own powers.
Bring the remote.
Yeah, you need that. I got the baby.
What about the package?
You just leave it there. Or just put it on the other side of the fence. Yeah. You'll feel like you have more control. Actually, matter of fact, I could talk a little bit about that. That was one of the things that we were talking about during the group coaching session inside of the community yesterday. We were talking about people using their abilities to start manifesting like behaviors and stuff from other people. One of the one of my clients, one of the people in the group, one of the people inside of the group was talking about how she wanted to prove that this stuff works for herself. So she went to the gym. So at the gym, she got a really good workout in, and she went to go hang out inside of the sauna. It's a unisex sauna. And as she's sitting down there in the sauna, she's like, I want to see if this stuff works for myself. So she had an idea of this guy that popped into her mind, and she was like, he's going to talk to me. Now, this is strange because this is a guy that she's seen around at the gym, but they haven't interacted. They haven't talked or anything like that, but she's seen him around. So when the guy popped up in her head, she was like, okay, he's gonna come talk to me. Mind you, she's sitting in the sauna. The guy's not there. Guess who shows up? It's the guy. Now she's sitting there in the sauna with this dude, and she can tell that he's looking at her, but she's not looking at him. She's looking away, and she's like, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. So she's like, you're going to come talk to me. So she keeps affirming that in her mind. You're going to come talk to me. And the guy's just sitting over there not saying anything. They're waiting. And as time goes on, the guy gets up and starts walking out of the sauna, out of the place. And normally people would be like, I guess it doesn't work or stop believing. But she was like, no, what are you doing? Inside of her head, never saying any of this stuff out loud. What are you doing? You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Come on. It's not what you're supposed to do. And she's thinking about it. And as she's thinking about it, the dude stops the double doors, turns around, and comes back straight to her. And he is like, hey, I just want to say, have a great night. And she's like, oh, that's cute. And she's like, and in her head. Didn't say this out loud. And because she knows she wanted more, she wanted to be able to say like, "Hey, you're not just gonna talk to me. You're gonna really talk to me." And he ended up asking her for a number. He's like, "Hey, I was wondering, can I get your number?" And she's like, "Ha ha ha, no, I don't do that," because she has a specific person that she's trying to that she's not trying to manifest. She has a specific person that she's bringing back into her life. She just used this as an opportunity to prove to herself that this stuff works. So it was really funny. She shared that story. And then I had another client who was testing this stuff, and she was like, "I want a sign that this stuff works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna think of an animal, and I want to see this animal show up, right?" So she thinks of the animal, and she's like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. I want to see a cow, but she's like, no, because if I go to the dairy aisle, I'm definitely gonna see a cow. It needs to be something different. Let's do a lizard, a lizard. She goes to the store, no lizard, nothing related to a lizard. But she gets a FaceTime from her mom. Picks it up. "Hey mom, how you doing? Hey baby," and she starts talking to her mom, and her mom's showing her a little like Christmas scene. It's like a little manger, a little baby manger thing. And while she's showing out the little baby manger thing, oh, a little baby, oh, they're doing a walkthrough. Oh, we need to check that out. There's a property that just went for sale next door. I want to check it out because I have to talk to Miss Sarah Jenkins. Okay. So she's talking to her mom, and her mom's like, "Hey, look, a little lizard decided to join the thing, to join the little Christmas scene." And she was like, "A what?" It's like a lizard. She flips around the camera. Guess what she sees? A freaking lizard. Yeah, a lizard. So she got her lizard. Had another client, Kiva, who she should be in the chat. She usually shows up. Kiva, she decides that she wants to prove this stuff to her, and she's like, "I want to see a blue. I forgot the name of the car. She's like a very specific make of a car, something. It's a blue car, a very specific model of a car." She leaves her house. On the way house, on the way to the for the rest of the day, she ends up seeing 6 of the same freaking car. So it works. It works really well. It's pretty funny. Russell Brand looks funny. Looks rough. Yeah. Yeah, Russell Brand's a cool guy. I don't really get too much Russell Brand. That's not. I get a lot of celebrity comparisons. Russell Brand is not a common one. Funny story. I had a weird experience. It seemed like a glitch in the Matrix. So I remember 100% bringing the trash down, and then I went upstairs and went down again, and there was no trace of what I did. Like I never went. Yeah, yeah, that stuff happens. So when meditating, I sometimes have this half asleep, half awake state when meditating. So is it like a portal or a form of astral projection? Whenever you're meditating deeply, you're usually moving into the state of astral projection. Whenever you imagine something, you are at some level practicing what people refer to as astral projection, because your imaginary body is what what Eastern mystics would refer to as your light body. Or your imaginary body. So, when you imagine your hands holding that orange I talk about all the time? Well, whenever you do that, guess what? That's not your flesh and blood hand. What hand is that? How can you feel an orange with your hand? Congratulations, you just had an experience with your astral body. Whatever you do in your imagination or your memory with that body, that is your astral body or your imaginary body. So when people talk about astral projection, what they're talking about is taking your consciousness and moving it into that imaginary body or that light body, which is no longer governed by the rules of the 3D experience, which means that you can fly, you can go far places. You don't have to be in the physical location that you're at, and you don't need to get in a car or fly to that place. You can just immediately show up there because you're no longer governed by the same rules of like physical reality, because you're using your imagination and your imaginal senses. Whenever I take inspired action, it works. If I have to strategize or overthink, nah. Yeah, Helen, that's a big one. Whenever you take inspired action, it's your body picking up on it's your body picking up on signals, letting you know that you should be doing this thing. Uh, oh, the little diva. Little divas. That's Sophia, who is now in the cart. Not the cart, the stroller with mommy. Okay. Ryan, your meditation time is approaching profound. Yeah, I mean, I don't do. I don't do. I used to. My meditations are usually maybe like an hour, maybe two. I really don't spend that much time meditating anymore, unless I'm like trying to do something in particular. Then I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. Let's get real serious on the meditation part. We do 6 hours here. Whoa, Alexandria, yeah, definitely. Let me know. I would love to join you guys in a group meditation. That'd be so freaking cool.
Oh my gosh.
What?
It's like a little pool of water in there.
Oh.
It was raining.
Okay, one of my best experiments was always receiving free coffee for a good 2 months at work. I only paid. Oh, you see the moon. Oh, you're so. Wow. Okay. I just remember going to the bakery with a coworker and telling him in my mind I want that sandwich 2 minutes later. After he ordered it, he bought it for me. Oh, that's so. Yeah, that's how this works. We are not separate. Everybody is one mind. That's why it's important to do the forgiveness exercises and all that stuff. Can you push it, baby? Because I can't really. Actually, I can. Give me a
You're
second.
capable of anything and everything.
Here, hold this for me for a moment. And I could put this. You're supposed to be a secret, but babe.
I know.
Yeah. Here, I'll let you hold the wind.
With love.
Here you go. Microphone for you. Thank you. I love your little thank you. It's one of my favorite things. What type of meditation am I doing now? Right now, the main meditation that I am practicing, mm, the main meditation I'm practicing right now is going into Focus 12 from the Gateway experience and just using that to like work with energy. I've been doing like a lot of energy meditations lately. And then I'll just listen to. Oh no, I thought I heard a car. And then I'll listen to subliminals during the day, and as I'm going to bed at night, listen to some good old subliminals, baby. Clear some stuff out, put some new stuff in. Outside of that, gateway tapes. The gateway tapes are like really good stuff. And using the processes that I've learned from the gateway tapes, like the problem-solving process, probably one of the most powerful processes that I've learned, because it really explains how information is picked up in the first place, and gives you a system to pick up information not only through your normal senses, but like through all your senses, which is really freaking cool. I'm gonna start recording subliminals, Helen. I need to do my subliminals and my affirmation tapes. Hi there. Doing good, doing good. Okay. Yeah, definitely try the Gateway experience, Steve. It's amazing. I'm a second Benjamin on that one. It's what if anybody comes to do a one-to-one session with me, that's one of the first things that I mention for them to start trying out after our session. After we do any of the clearing exercises and stuff and find any of the blocks, I'm like, you want more control over your imagination and your mind? Use this. Come on, mama. Got a little runner back there. She's got her butterfly today. Fly, fly like a butterfly. Ooh, good question, Steve. Can I use meditation to improve my physical skills, like, let's say, drawing, for example? Yes, you can. One thing that people forget is that physical skills have an imaginary component attached to them. The whole reason why anybody improves in any of their work is because they've received new information and they've practiced using that new information and moved those processes through the physical body. So if you want to get better at a skill, you can do some really cool, interesting meditations. If you want to really improve your physical skills, there's a couple things that I would recommend checking out. Number one would be quantum leaping. Quantum leaping. There's a guy that Mind Valley has done several videos with. I forgot the gentleman's name, but he specializes in teaching people how to quantum leap. And whenever he shows up again and they meet the dude, hey, what's up, Steffi? Um, oop, but whenever they see the dude again, he whenever they meet the dude again, he ends up like having new skills, which is really freaking cool. Like he'll learn how to play piano, or draw, or paint, or like sing and all this stuff.
Drenched in saliva.
That's fine. She could munch on it. That's cool. Yeah, quantum leaping is pretty cool. There's that, and then there's also, if you want to learn rapid skill acquisition, just a better way to use your mind and your consciousness to acquire new skills, I suggest checking out neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. But you have to write it out, neuro-linguistic programming, because NLP also is the acronym for natural language processing, which is used in a lot of AI processes. So you're going to have a lot of videos that you don't want if you just search up NLP. But neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, specifically the early stuff from Richard Bandler and John Grinder. Those two gentlemen talk about the acquisition of new skills by studying. What, Mama? You want up, or you want to go inside the thing? Oh, you want the microphone? It's fine if she drools on it. Just tell her not to put it in her mouth, please. Keep it in your hands. You can sing. La 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 la. Sing cosmic. Yeah, your mom said that we were gonna get her a microphone. I need to get her a microphone. We gotta touch your mom to see if your mom got her the microphone yet. If not, I'm gonna get her a microphone. Yes, technically you can upgrade like Neo in the Matrix. So if you start studying neuro-linguistic programming, you'll basically learn how to do the whole Neo, I know Kung Fu thing. Because yes, it is possible. And it makes more sense when you start learning about and thinking about how do you learn and acquire new skills and information. So with NLP, one of the things that they teach for the process of learning new skills is this. And I'll give you guys a quick NLP lesson. If you want to learn a new skill, you start off by number one, deciding that you want to get a new skill. Decide what that skill is. And once you decide what that skill is, you need to go out into the world and find a genius in this field. A genius or an expert. Somebody who's... Thank you so much. You find somebody who demonstrates... Oh. You find somebody who demonstrates that they could produce this result in their world. You want to get in the chair?
Yes.
Okay, you can hop inside the chair. There you go. You find somebody who demonstrates that they can produce this result in the world in a fabulous way. This will be your role model or your expert or genius in this field. You want to make sure that this person is someone who has demonstrated the actual results in their lives, because there are tons of people who talk about the stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a role model or genius. And the reason why you want to do this is because if the person has the result in their life, that means that there's something in their neurology that produces that specific result. What's up?
It's stuck.
Oh, it's stuck? You need help? I got you. Here you go. There you go. There you go, baby. All right, so yes, neuro-linguistic programming. That's how you neuro-linguistic programming. That's how you say it. So that person, their neurology is tuned to specifically create that result. And this is where we go into the process to download that. We make sure that the person that we are downloading the information from is somebody who has the result that we want in our lives. in this narrow band, which means that you can find people who have other skills, but if they don't have skills in this area, we don't model them, because for instance, a really good example, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a genius when it comes to building businesses, to being like a personal brand and marketing, and just being controversial and all that stuff. He's great at that. So if you wanted to model him for those behaviors, then please, by all means. But when it comes to cooking a quiche, I don't know if Elon Musk is the best person for that. Because even though he's a genius in one area, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a genius in the area of cooking. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have the capacity to be a genius in that area. It just means that I don't know if his software would produce a good quiche. I don't know if he knows that. So because of that, you won't follow him in this area. You would find somebody who would be a narrow band genius in this specific area, which would be a quiche, if this was the example. So probably like a Gordon Ramsay or someone like that. Gordon Ramsay or Guy Fieri. Even though Guy Fieri is not necessarily the same level of business genius as a billionaire, he knows way more about cooking. So once you find your narrow band genius in this area, like narrow area, you begin the process of unconscious assimilation, which means that in this area of their life, you need to find out as much as you possibly can of how this person, number one, thinks about the activity that they're doing, the sequence in which they do this activity, and begin the process of downloading everything. The way that they move, the micro muscle movements, their belief systems around this thing, the sequence in which they do the actions, all these things. And then you move into the third the process, which is practicing in parallel, which is after you download all the information, you need to practice in the same context as this person with the stuff that you've downloaded until you produce similar results which are indistinguishable from the model. The ways that this works really well is if you get really close to the model itself, which means that you talk to this person directly, which is where you have mentorship relationships, because then you can ask the person questions related to whatever you're trying to get done. The second best thing would be like getting an autobiography, not just a biography or a book that somebody else may have written from this person, because then the code loses some of its information or it gets distorted because it's not from the original source and not from that person. Autobiographies are always the best for that. Best behind that, and then we talk about.
Take who out? Check it out.
She wants to.
Take it out.
She wants to be taken out.
You
Yeah.
want to be out of the stroller?
Yeah, I think she wants to be out.
Ay, Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío. Yeah. And then after you go through the process of practicing in parallel until you get the same result, last thing that you do in the process is turn what you've learned from this person into code. You codify it. You basically take what you learned from this person and your own experience, and you turn it into code. And if the code works properly, it should be able to produce results that are indistinguishable from the model, even if the person does not have direct access to the model. And that's the way that you're able to tell that the code actually works. If the person doesn't have direct access to the model but still produces the same results as the model, that's how you know. All right, come on, baby. That's how you know. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, so we can go.
We haven't gotten to the first declaration.
That's fine. That way, we want to go eat. You want pizza?
Pizza. Oh, from Catalog?
Yeah, from Catalog.
That way.
That way? Oh. Fine, ladies.
Do we have Jasmine over there?
Probably. I know they have the rooibos. Grab the little one's hands.
Give me your hand, baby.
Yes, car's coming. Come on. Yeah. The way that we're able to do better with this process is that you pay or do whatever you can to get as close access to your role model as you possibly can. The best way of doing this is to find somebody who's like good but available, and then work your way up. Learn the skill as much as you can from that person, and then find somebody who's more world class once you start producing the results in this area. Funny thing is, that's actually what we. The funniest thing about this is that's actually what everybody is doing when you're trying to learn a new skill, whether you know it or not. You're trying to download the code to produce a specific result by doing this stuff. That's why people buy courses. Okay, we'll go to the first one.
The first decoration is in
Okay. That's why people buy courses. That's why people buy books. That's why I bought Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers and $100 million leads. Why? Because this man produced a specific result in the areas of business and marketing, and he produced a book, which is quite literally the code or way of his thinking that he used to produce these results, not only for himself, but for other people. The way that he knows the code works is because when people take the code, which is the book, and don't have direct access to Alex Hormozi, they're able to produce similar results, which is what Alex Hormozi does with all of his content. He's giving people his code so that they're able to produce the same results. So ultimately he gets more potential companies to invest in that he can end up investing in and then selling later on. Once I said, okay, when you create the 30-day manifestation meditation video, I'll be there. Day one. Awesome. All right, I'll let you know. All right, come on, other one. Let's go. Let's keep walking. You want to get the ball? You want me to? Okay. I believe once you said that we can experience the opposite of our manifestation attempts. How do we can avoid doing that? You don't. What'll typically happen, especially if something is like a big shift or a big change, what you are quite literally doing is you're trying to change what you're doing is you're trying to change your consciousness. And as I explain this, the image that comes to mind for me is of a giant wheel. A giant wheel. There's two parts of the wheel. There's the inner portion of the wheel and the outer portion of the wheel. The outer portion of the wheel is your outward experience. The inner portion of the wheel is your inner experience, which is like your thoughts, your imagination, all that stuff. When you begin the process of trying to change the wheel, which is changing your experience to what you desire and what you want, the first change that happens is the inward change. Mama, mama, mama. Don't stand in front of it. You gotta stand to the side of it. Ooh. Once you start making changes on the inner portion of the wheel, you will still be confronted by the old images of what you were thinking before, because the physical experience in the world around you is a reflection of the inner wheel or your inner experience that you've had. The patterns in your ways of thinking, the patterns in your ways of feeling, the patterns in the way of imagining, all of these things are what create the manifestation of the outer wheel. So when you start changing your inner wheel or your inner experience, you're going to still receive old things that you ordered before, old images which were from your old way of thinking. And when you're confronted with those old manifestations or the outer wheel, you get the opportunity to basically say, you know what, I'm not going back to the way the inner wheel looked. I'm not going back to the inner experience of how I used to think. I'm going to affirm this new one in as a way of getting over the test of this old experience or this old image. And now that you've done that, okay, don't stand in front of it, mama. We gotta keep going. You gotta stand to the side of it, my love. Stand to the side. You wanna get on? You wanna sit on it? You wanna get on side? No? Okay, well then keep walking. Here, come here. Come over to the side. Come here. Up daddy, yes, up daddy. Yeah, we're gonna go see the decorations if you stop for a moment. So yeah, you don't stop the outward experience. You stop recreating it the moment that you decide that you're going to persist in the way that you think and the new pattern that you're creating in the face of the old pattern. So think of any wrong creations or seemingly like negative manifestations or things that you don't want. See them as tests, which are basically the universe saying, hey, This is the outer wheel. Are you sure you want to make that change on the inner wheel? Are you confirming this? And you're like, yes, I'm confirming it. I'm going to continue thinking this way in spite of the appearance of the old thing. I know what I want. I'm going to stick with what I want, and it's going to happen. And then it happens. It shows up. Because you've successfully replaced the pattern in the inner wheel, which means that the outer wheel has to reflect what change that you've done in your own consciousness. So it's actually, you don't avoid it, you look forward to it because it's a sign that things are changing, and you're like, yes, this is exactly what I was waiting for. This is exactly what I needed. It's the same thing with the hero's journey. That's like trying to say, hey, can I actually become a hero and have a fully satisfying hero's journey if I don't have any obstacles or trials? No, that's not how it works. You go through the obstacles and trials and come out the other end different, having changed. The whole point of going on the journey in the first place is that Mama, why do you keep doing that? The whole point of going on the journey is that you come out the other end better and different. Hey Ryan, you don't know if my question got lost in the chat, but can you help me out with that? Because I've been doing sats and managed to pop into that feeling. What was the feeling? What was your question? Yeah, the universe. Are you sure you want to close that program? You're like, yes. Yes, you're forced quitting the program. Linguistic programming. What was your question, Michael? Where is it? After you felt the tones of reality is there any point after you felt the tones of reality that you can mess with it? Had a little spiral after an interaction with SP sometime after I had the breakthrough. With that, I mean the manifestation coming to fruition. All right, it depends. If you go back into an altered state of consciousness and alter the pattern, yes, you can stop the thing from happening. If you are just in your regular everyday consciousness after successfully making an impression in sats, no, you're not going to stop it. You have to go into an altered state of consciousness to change the energy pattern, to make the change happen to stop the change from happening or to make another change happen. That's like that's kind of like asking. Think of it kind of like submitting a blueprint for a house. Like you're getting a house built, and you take the blueprint and you submit it to the builders, and the builders are like, okay, this is the blueprint. I'm changing it. You sent them the files. You emailed them the files, and now they're going to make the change. They're actually going to start building the building. So while they're in the process of building the building, you still have the file on your computer. You can do whatever you want to the file on the computer. You can change the file on the computer as much as you want. Guess what? The builders are still going to be building using the blueprints that you submitted in the first place. If you want something to change in the design of the house, you have to submit new blueprints. You got to submit that to them. So that means you need to go into an altered state of consciousness to create the change. This is why Neville Goddard did the ladder exercise, to prove to people when you make a submission to the subconscious mind, when you impress the subconscious mind by feeling something and imagining it intensely like you're there and you feel the tones of reality and it's done, it doesn't matter if you quite literally go around every day telling yourself, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. It doesn't matter what you say. The plans have already been submitted. It's going to show up. And that's why people still climb the ladder, even though they tell themselves and remind themselves and write it everywhere, I will not climb a ladder, I will not climb a ladder, I will not climb a ladder. Why? Because they submitted the plans. They submitted the blueprint. The builders are building. The only way that you can make the change is if you take those changes and you submit them in the same way that you did the first changes. So you don't have to worry about that when it comes to manifesting. The one thing that you can do in conscious mind is you can slow down the process. You won't be able to get rid of it, but you can slow it down. Hey, what's up? What's up, Music Magic? One line that helped me smoke from fires that don't exist anymore. That's actually a really good one. I like that one. Are you ready?
Deflated.
They're deflated.
Yeah.
Okay. Come, Mama. Come, Mama. We go to playgrounds. Yeah, we're gonna go get food and go to playgrounds. Well, you don't want to take the little one to playgrounds? Mommy, mommy, daddy. Tommy, Tommy Robinson. What do I do for a living? I am a marketing consultant and I am also, okay, baby. I'm a marketing consultant and I also do coaching, relationship coaching. Mama, what's up? Okay, we're gonna go get pizza. Come on. You're welcome, Michael. Yeah, you're gonna get it back, dude. You're good. Ugh. Yeah, I'm about to go get some food with my ladies here. All right, any other questions, guys? The last questions, because we're about to. Yeah, last questions. Say last questions, everybody. Last questions. Can you push it, baby? Bebe, can you push it? That's funny. Yeah, it's the rural area out here, so it does look like a Red Dead Redemption 2, Matt. I feel like Arthur Morgan. Ugh.
That's a phone.
Yeah, the microphone.
You want the microphone?
No, because she's gonna munch on it. You funny?
Down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you ever deal with physical restlessness during meditation, like restless leg syndrome? Actually, yeah, I had to deal with that stuff. That was like when I started getting really deep into my meditations, that was like one of the first issues. Because like you need to learn how to physically relax the body. So restlessness, oh, up and down. Which one? Up and down?
Yes.
Yes. So when it comes to physical resistance and like needing to relax the body, that's like one of the first major steps is learning how to fully relax the body, legs, eyes, mind even, because part of the reason why people are like, I don't know if I can meditate and all that stuff is usually because they haven't practiced concentrating on something and they haven't practiced not following the feelings or thoughts. When I was in my meditations, the first couple of times of trying to get really deep into my meditations, like my first meditation, I had to do an outlaw meditation. I was like, oh my God. I began to notice like I would get the urge to open my eyes and realize, wait a minute, why am I thinking about the time? I don't need to open my eyes right now. That's just a thought. That's a thought. I don't need to actually act on the thought. And then there were the thoughts about like having to move my body. And I was like, well, it's just a feeling of discomfort. And I believe by moving my body, I'll get rid of the feeling of discomfort. But I don't have to move my body. If I just focus on the feeling, I can imagine the feeling dissipating. It's not going to be there forever. If I sit here, what will happen if I just sit in the discomfort? And over time, the discomfort would cease and it would disappear, or the urge to open my eyes or look at the time or look around would go away, and then I would go back deeper into the meditation. So it's just one of those thresholds you have to overcome in the process of learning meditation. My mom manifested this big house when she was younger by writing on a note, big house, and kept it to this day. I'm not surprised. Yes, manifesting multiple things can be possible because you're doing it all day, every day. Oh yeah, it is stuck. That's where it was. You took it off. She took off the. Here, put it back on. Put it right here. Turn it around. Like right here. There we go. The magnet's falling down my chest. Yeah, toddlers are the best. They just.
Again.
Yeah, again, they just say what they want and they get it. They're like the best examples. Like, I remember, you remember the cake incident, Bebe? The cake.
Which incident?
The cake incident where Sophia was talking about cake.
Oh, yeah, she was talking about it.
Wait, you gotta get closer and say it. So what happened?
Oh, yeah, so she was talking about some, and then it showed up.
Yeah, so we're sitting in the, here, Put her in the thing.
You want it in the stroller?
I'm about to put her down in the stroller because my arm's getting tired. Sit down. Sit down. I'll up daddy you in a moment.
Mamba.
Sit down. Whoop. There you go.
Mamba.
All right. So what happened with her is that the little one. Here you go. You want a microphone? So the little one, she's sitting in the kitchen and she just randomly starts saying, cake, 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 and just starts asking for cake. And it's funny because as it's happening, I look over at Stephanie and she's like, there's no cake here. We don't have cake. And I looked at her and I said, hey, we're going to have cake. Cake is going to show up at some point in our experience and she's going to have cake. She's not budging on her desire for cake. She's just saying cake. So cake is going to show up whether you know it or not. I think it was maybe like 2 days later. 2 days later. We get invited out to a family gathering. Turns out it's a family member's birthday party. And as we're sitting at the table, and our little lady gets a slice placed in front of her and sinks her little fork into it and starts eating, I look over at mommy and realize, oh, wait a minute. Remember what you talked about the other day? She's having the cake right now. She manifested this cake. She created it. And it's not like she has money to get cake. She's a 2-year-old. It's not like she has the authority to have cake appear or anything like that. But you know what? She manifested it. She said cake. She wanted cake. And sure enough, the universe aligned everything to be perfect for her to get cake. It's not like she knew about anything that's happened. Hell, me and Stephanie didn't know that the party was gonna happen. It was something that was kind of like sprung up last minute, and it was like, oh, we didn't even know that these people weren't even in town. They had come into town to be here, and then we just so happened to have a whole cake thing that happened. So yeah, toddlers are great at manifestation, and if you ever want to manifest something, you're manifesting all the time. Everybody is, from the moment that you're born. Awesome. That's all my questions for today. No problem, Steven. Yeah, daughter's 2. 2 years old. Little 2-year-old. Little cutie pie 2-year-old. Thank you for asking, Ingrid. Any other questions? Oh, I didn't even talk about Christmas joy. I put that in the title. I didn't even talk about it all video. Oh, man. I guess Christmas, the part of Christmas joy is like, the funny thing is that people will do the manifestation processes for Christmas and then forget them for the rest of the year. You want something around Christmas time, people write it down. Like, that's normal. Like, people write that for Christmas. Changes that they want in their lives, people write that down for New Year's. And then they just kind of like forget that you can do that after the year like goes on, once we hit January and February. So if you want real Christmas joy, write down everything that you want. Knowing, well, actually a good exercise to do is to write down, like, what would you want if you knew you couldn't fail? Baby. I was already looking. Trust me, I was already looking the whole time. It was a nice view. How do I know if I'm manifesting right? What's showing up in your experience? Number one, how are you feeling? And number two, what is showing up in your experience? Because you're always manifesting. Always. You can't stop doing it. It's like saying, hey, how do I breathe? I can show you how to breathe consciously and how to change your process of breathing, but I can't, like you're always breathing. Same thing with manifesting. It's just how you are, how you live and move through life. The problem that most people have is that they're usually in a negative loop. They're manifesting things that they do not enjoy again and again and again and again. And then use the manifestation as an excuse to continue impressing that same thing in their consciousness. So they just like kind of get a little feedback loop, which is not fun. It's more fun when you do it the other way around, when you have something that's amazing and wonderful, and then you're getting it reinforced back at you, and you're like, this is just my life, and everything's easy. Oh man. Hey, what's up? What's up, Mr. Singh? Not a father yet. Oh, trust me. Oh, one of the things that's amazing about being a father is that you get a crash course in learning how to navigate relationships and how to manifest. Because as a father, you can't you can't let somebody else's emotions affect how you act and how you think. You have a little human being who's literally gonna go wild and have tantrums, and you have to maintain your thought process, your beliefs, and like stay resolute. So like the unhinged method and all the stuff I talk about is way easier once you become a dad because you have to practice it all the time. You have no choice. Hopono opono. It's so easy because I had to practice it all the time. Matter of fact, I had to practice it last night. I practice it all the time. Uh, as a dad, going through the process of forgiveness. Oh, back to the exercise. So for Christmas joy, you want Christmas joy? Take some time and over the next, let's say, 5 minutes or so, write down everything that you want to have, be, and do, that you would want to have, be, and do if, where are you going? Everything that you would want to have, be, and do if you knew you couldn't fail and money was no object. Like you won the lottery 10 times over, you had more than enough money for anything that you want, you could have, be, or do anything. Write down that list. And once you do that, realize that anything that you've written down on that list, you can have. If it's something that's within human believability, which is a big one, because some people are like, oh, can I run a minute mile? Probably not. No, because that's outside of the realm of human believability. Maybe it's possible, but it's, again, outside of the realm of human believability. But if you write anything out on this list, you can more than likely have it, because most people have desires and things that they want that are well within the realm of human believability. It's wonderful and amazing. Is this property 2 acres? I guess it's, huh. Does the property include, is that a fence? I'm looking at this property that's for sale. Because it doesn't really seem like 2 acres to me. Maybe that's just because we don't have we have the trees and all that stuff, but it doesn't, I guess it probably includes behind that fence back there. I gotta double check online and see all that stuff. Yep. Yeah, I saw that. That's what you meant, Michael, with the father thing. Yeah. In present tense, yes. Write it in present tense like I have the thing. I have the thing. Just write down your big old list. Oh, here's the big hack to do after that. Once you've gone through and you've written all those things out on your list, this is where we get into the levels of believability, which really frustrates me because I made posts on like the Neville Goddard subreddit, and people like they attacked me for this, where I essentially said like, hey, you can have whatever you want, but like you you have levels of believability. If you don't believe that something can happen and it's outside of your realm of belief, if you try to affirm or do the processes for it, you can actually end up in a negative cycle, a negative loop, because you're doubting that it's going to work and you're doubting that it's going to happen. So you shouldn't, and this is one thing that nobody talks about, if something is if something is outside of the realm of your belief, don't try to manifest it. There should be, if you're going to be manifesting stuff, you should manifest stuff that's relatively close to your level of current belief right now. So when you look at your list, go through the list of things and answer like how believable, how much do you believe that you can get this thing, in the next 6 to 12 months on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, no, I don't think this can happen at all. 10 being, this is definitely going to happen no matter what. And the things that you should be focusing on trying to manifest are the things that are in the sweet spot of 6, 7, and 8. Because it's something that's big enough, that's exciting, but it's also something that is within the realm of believability, where you believe that it could happen. It may be a slight stretch, but it's not outside of your realm of believability. If you end up going after things that are like 5, 4s, 3, 2s, and 1s, and you're learning this process, you're wasting your time, because usually you get plagued with stuff like doubt, uncertainty, and then you get stuck in a negative cycle, and you just keep manifesting being in a waiting pattern. So if you want to manifest something on that list, focus on your sweet spot, 6, 7, 8, and feel good about it. The main thing you need to focus on is, do you feel good when you think about this thing? If you feel bad when you think about this thing, usually it's outside of your believability. Good question. So the Neville reader. So newbie, noob music. I noticed that most of the stories happen within 2 weeks or less. How does time work? Depends on what you're negotiating. That's like not negotiating. What you're impressing.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you tip it over until the water gets out of the stroller, please?
Yeah, I'll tip it over. It depends. That's like asking how long does a tree take to grow? Depends on the tree. It depends on the plant. There are stories. There are things that take a short amount of time. There are things that take a longer amount of time. The whole thing is just focus on things that you care about, that you want to happen, that you don't care about when it shows up. That's the important thing for that process. That's what I mentioned. What do you do when you're sad or feel as though that nothing is working in your favor? That's why we do tapping exercises, clearing exercises to feel good. And that usually takes care of that. All right. Well, I gotta go. Me and the baby. Pizza? All right. Me and the baby, we're gonna go to the cafe and get flatbreads, which she calls pizza. Bye, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'll probably end up doing another live sometime soon, and you'll see another video getting posted over the weekend. So, talk to you guys later. Enjoy, and look out for the video that's coming up. Mm-hmm.